Greetings and welcome to the Sports Card Ripping Teacher. The Bulls lost last night and we have some additions to today's lesson plan, so let's get to it. Class is in session. Today's lesson is dedicated to the number 49, and this is a trade that worked out for the Chicago Cubs. That summer we were having Feldmania. That's right, Scott Feldman was on fire for the Chicago Cubs. Who is he? Good question. But he was doing well. The Cubs picked him up kind of like a reclamation project in hopes of trading him because it was a terrible Cubs team. They did trade him to the Baltimore Orioles, and in return, the Cubs got Pedro Strop. That's right, with his hat sideways. He was an important member of that 2016 World Series championship, but also Jake Arrieta. And Jake was a bulldog. He was an outstanding pitcher for the Cubs. He won a Cy Young, threw a couple of no-hitters. He was that old reliable. And there was a stretch in 15 and 16 where he was just untouchable. If the Cubs had, lost a game or two and he was coming up, you knew he was going to get that victory. I also had in my classroom back then, it was a picture of him with this kind of like a death stare, and it said on there just, "Calm down." And sometimes I would kind of point to the students if they're kind of, getting, worked up about something, and just, it was kind of a joke in the classroom. Like we just kind of point to it if we felt someone's kind of getting worked up a little bit. Alrighty, so today we're going to kick off things with a VR for Wade Boggs fan. I saw a couple people do his VR, and it's the favorite card of your collection and why. So Cards by Mark, here's the other card that I meant to send you, this Rafael Devers. I actually blamed Jax for not being able to find it, but it was in my binder, so I do have to apologize. Not my favorite thing to do, folks, but important. If you make a mistake, apologize. So I do have to apologize to Jax. I found it, but this Mark Grace card right here, this is the favorite card of my collection, and it's because of the ivy in the background. Working at Wrigley Field in the summertime, this year I think I worked almost 60 between games and concerts, almost 60 events. And for game days, I would check the wind before I go in, but when I walk up the stairs, the ivy was the first thing I noticed. Earlier in the year, it's kind of that crusty brown, then little specks of green coming in. And even in, 2016, they still had some green to that ivy in October and November for the World Series. And it just reminds me of my mom and dad. And that first Cubs game we attended, I told you about that a few weeks ago, about how, it featured Nolan Ryan, Greg Maddux, and the game being suspended. The Cubs did not have lights then. So this card, the ivy, every time I see the ivy at Wrigley Field, just reminds me of my mom and dad. So that is a VR for Wade Boggs fan. If you want to partake, you have until October 27th at midnight. If you're up around midnight, I don't know what you're doing, but I'll be fast asleep, so I'm going to get mine in now. And I'll use the hashtag WBF1500. That's for his subscriber contest. All righty, next up, today, got a Mosaic pack. And also, at the start of the school year, I found 3 of these in a box from last year. So we'll kind of just sprinkle them in here a little bit along the way. So maybe this is the downtown. I'm not going to use the prime today like I'll do for tomorrow, but what if that downtown's been down there all along? So we'll do the Mosaic pack here. You've heard me say a couple times, what the crack, and he pulled 2 case hits out of his value pack. Now, what am I expecting? Well, my case hit was probably in his value pack, so I don't think I'm going to get one. But you never know, folks. That's why we open the cards to find out. Micah Parsons, Roquan Smith, some defenders. Next week, I'll be back into the Fantasy Rip League for heat number 3. Darren Waller, tight end. Ty Law, we can't use him. He's a retiree. Terry McLaurin, scary Terry cards. I used him in my Pay Dirt Fantasy Football League. He has not scored a touchdown this session for me. But John Robinson, man, that was a strange deal last week with just the 1 carry. Riley Moss, wish it was a Randy Moss rookie card. DJ Turner, and we have a T. Higgins here. Flip this guy over on the silver. Tells me something big for a second there, folks, when it was turned over. But T. Higgins on the silver. The Bengals are back this week. I think they got a tough matchup against the Eagles, maybe, I think. I forget who it is, but it's a tough matchup. Calvin Hill, shout out to 3 good nerds. I did see his VR for a Wade Boggs fan. That's what kind of reminded me to do that one today. John Randall, man, he was a beast, always wearing the eye black. Any eye black? I don't think there's any eye black in this one. But he was a feared defensive end back in the day. Trevor Lawrence, sweet-looking card right there. I was actually going through some of my cards the other day, and I have some of his rookie cards with the pink camels like that. DeAndre Swift and Thunder Lane of Dalvin Cook and a Patrick Mahomes Elevate Wildcat. What game is this from? I bet you know exactly which touchdown. Odds are it went to Travis Kelce, though. All right, nothing there. Downtown hunting. We'll do a little... Again, Jack said this prime was a good luck. It's what turned his soccer day around on Sunday. And I am a little superstitious. If I think something will, help, I'm all for it. All right, one pack magic. Justin Herbert. I think they play the Bears this week. Christian McCaffrey. Zach Wilson, man, there's a time where we all would have loved this card, and you never know. It's his team for the rest of the year, so there was a time last year I was giving away every single Zach Wilson card that I got. Maybe I'll hold on to this one. And a Tylan Wallace. All right, tomorrow we're going downtown hunting. We're looking at 2015 Topps football cards. But again, downtown hunting. Class is dismissed.